What's shaking, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor live stream. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about website optimization. How the hell do you get your website homepage to start generating qualified leads and turning those leads into buying customers? So, what's going on, my man, Awais?
What's going on, Henry?
Dude, what a day. I can't believe it's 2 o'clock already.
I know.
But we have been moving and shaking all day, all morning, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. I know this is a conversation that you are super passionate about. So,
who wouldn't be?
Right. Especially if you're a designer or run any sort of brand agency or design house of any sort. So let's talk about this for a second, guys. But real quick, before we get started, if you haven't booked a brand assessment with me yet, I highly recommend you head over to Unique Designz after this video and book a one-on-one assessment, especially if you find this video valuable. This is for the entrepreneur that needs clarity and focus with their branding. Maybe you're going into a new market. Maybe you have hit this plateau. Maybe it's time for a rebrand and you don't know. Maybe it's time to look at some new product offering and you need some help with designing and structuring and positioning those items. This brand assessment is going to figure out where you're stuck right now and where you need to go and what those gaps are in between. So that is a 45-minute to an hour call with me one-on-one. So highly recommend you book that if any of that is of value to you. Okay, so let's dive into this. So I've heard through the grapevine that you have gotten this particular statement said to you when talking about web development, web design, redesigning a website. And what is that particular comment?
You know, Henry, we're discussing this whole website thing today, and honestly, I'm a skeptic here. All right. Honestly, I believe that websites are just a glorified business card. Unless I'm selling something directly on there, unless it's an e-commerce website and it's making me money directly through there, a brochure website, man, it's just a one single billboard.
Right. That's so funny because I hear people say that websites are dead and this and that. And I highly disagree.
It's a glorified business card, Henry.
A glorified business card. I love it. Well, let me ask you this. Like, let's say your website went offline tomorrow. What kind of impact would that have on your business financially?
Well, I'm not selling anything on there.
You're not? Then why do you have a website in the first place?
Oh, just because all my other competitors have one.
That is not a good answer. That's going to get you killed.
It just seems like, hey, it's 2020. Everyone's got to have a website, just like everyone's got to have a business card.
Yeah, well, not anymore. I mean, I can't remember the last time I even got a business card printed, two collected a business card. So very interesting times. There's a really cool card out there. I don't know if you know. I forget what the hell it's called, where you actually scan it and it uploads that person's information to your phone. That's pretty cool.
I got that. Yeah. It's almost like a link tree. I mean, obviously they've got a little QR code, but I was at a networking event, or I'm sorry, it was that oil and gas trade show last month, and practically everyone had their QR code ready to go, and you're scanning that in, and you're able to add them onto your LinkedIn, and of course add their contact information directly onto your phone. So I thought that was pretty convenient, but look, make the case for me. I mean, why do I need to spend $60,000 on a website, man? I mean, that's come on. Well, $1,500 would do me. I mean, it's just like I said, it's a glorified business card.
And maybe it will. Maybe that's all you do need to spend on your website. I have no idea. But I will share with you this. I've made a mistake in the past. I spent $26,000 on this website. Okay. And it didn't bring me one lead, one sale, until I realized the elements that were missing, that were the big drivers of connecting my brand to the people that I wanted to serve. And that one big differentiator was me. So if you want to stand out from your competition, what better place to do that on your website and it represent you and you represent it? People are so afraid of putting themselves out there because of what? What is the main reason?
Okay. So we have that. Okay. So let's say you're telling me that I personally brand my website and I throw myself on there. Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen to my business as a result of that? I mean, what am I expecting from that?
So people are going to connect with you. That's the big thing that I want everybody to get today. When I was starting out with my design business, my designs sucked so bad. I don't even know how people hired me. But I realized, because I had a web developer back in the day say, Henry, the reason why you're getting customers is because they like you. They like your attitude. They like your drive. They like your work ethic. They like your turnaround time. They like your speed. Those are all features, but they like you as a person. They could go to any design shop anywhere they want, but they come to you. So that's huge. That's huge. So here's a good question. Do your customers find you online or offline? It's a good question.
Yeah. Well, let's say I'm cold calling all my customers, and then that ends up in my funnel, and of course then we end up in a bidding process. Why do I still need a website if I'm calling them?
Well, I think to your point, always, before we went live, you talked about trust, you talked about credibility. Where else are you going to put that? Online. Where else are you going to put that in a place that's super dense?
So you're saying that it supplements the conversation that I may have with them while when I cold call them. They're looking me up to see if there's legitimacy, there's some depth to what I've told them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think here's the biggest thing. People ask all the time, like, what if I serve multiple different clients, different types of clients?
Yeah.
How do I help them navigate my website so that they know where to go to the right place? That's where your website is no longer a glorified business card. It's a freaking roadmap of getting the results that your clients and prospects are looking for.
Exactly.
So how do you develop that? How do you map all that out? I'll give you a quick story. We had a client last year that was serving two very different and distinct clients. One was very high end and one was, a mid six figures guy. And those two profiles wanted very, very different things for their lives and their businesses. So when you landed on his website, there was two journeys you could go on. And those people, those profiles were called out on that homepage. If you are this person, click here to get this. If you are this person, click here and get that. So they are choosing their own journey. And it's just like anything else. Like, say you go to you say you go to Target during Christmas time. and they have all of these satellite freaking, checkouts, right? But there's a gazillion people there. You don't know which way to go. Left, right, up, down. But there's a guide there telling you, oh, if you have 10 items or less, come over here. You'll get out faster. Right?
Exactly. All right. So I'm gonna step out of character real quick.
Okay.
And come back to Oase. Really, so this actually came up 2-3 weeks ago as well. Making them feel validated, whether it's in a sales call or on a website, when you're not there to represent and have a real live conversation with your customer, I think it becomes even more important. And that's what you're referring to is having that specific profile that really helps them identify themselves and qualify themselves into a specific role. Mm-hmm. And now they're able to navigate to that area of the website and navigate into that specific customer journey, mm-hmm. which might look completely different based off of, the metrics that you just gave, which is, what they're making in a year, or it might be an entirely different type of a role. Yeah. Particularly with many of the businesses that I work with, they're particularly in the B2B space. Mm-hmm. So they're selling to other businesses. And sometimes the larger the business, the more decision makers become involved in that process. What's at stake for the owner of the company is entirely different from what's at stake of the someone that's an admin of the company, or someone that's a COO or a CFO of the company. Mm-hmm. If they make a bad decision, it's just going to be their job on the line. If the owner makes a bad decision, it's his entire company and his entire company's life on the line. Yeah. So the way that we can speak to each one of them is going to be an entirely different. And the way that their challenges are going to be addressed, which you talk about, Henry, is if you can articulate their challenges better than they can, you've won their business. Well, now imagine if you can articulate each one of those people's challenges better than they can. Yeah. Knowing that and really guiding them through that entire process.
Exactly. And I love this. I love this quote here from one of our live listeners. If your website doesn't influence your ideal customers to buying from you and not your competitors, your website's broken. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's a sales tool. It's your number one sales tool. Yeah, I highly, highly agree with that statement. Here's another thing that I want to share with you. Very interesting conversation I had Monday with a brand assessment client who came through that process. He was very much interested in getting straight to, how do I know you're better than me at this stuff? He actually said that. Which I really enjoyed. Right. And how do you get your homepage to influence people? Well, your credibility, the social proof, and making it about them. I think a lot of websites make the mistake of piling on the features of their business and not focus on the benefits of the business. So your headlines on your homepage should be short, sweet, punchy, to the point on how they're going to win. I'll give you a quick example. We'll go to my site quick. Hopefully I don't we don't jam up here, because right before we go live, of course my computer goes, I'm gonna do an update. Oh, man. So real quick, I'm asking the question, or basically saying the statement. You want to monetize your expertise at scale? We do that. Brand strategies, how that happens. Let's talk. And then they play the video. And this video is how to actually do that. So now they get instant access to some education for free. And then where do I go? Success stories, here's the people that we've helped. Go watch their videos. Right? That's what people want to know. And they're going to start watching these videos and they're going to start saying, oh, I had the same problem Nick had. Or, oh, I had the same issues Jason had.
Relatability.
Exactly. And then when you come over to the Brand Accelerator program, I specifically say, do you want a done-for-you system to monetize your expertise online? Well, here it is. So that catches you, right? Then in this video, I'm outlining the whole program inside and out. So you know every step of the program. Some more testimony. And then here's where I start to explain the pain points and then get into how we actually execute this program. And if you read the copy, it's very benefit oriented. It's not, well, you're going to get a new website, you're going to get a new logo, you're going to get, I don't talk about too much of that.
Yeah.
Those are the features.
Yeah.
The benefits. So again, I want my audience to feel comfortable with me and the process. A confident client is one of the best clients you can have. So I actually pulled out some behind the scenes of me working with clients. So you can actually see me going through some of the process. Now, I don't let any proprietary information out, of course, to protect my clients, but I'm allowing you to peek behind the curtain, which is very, very important. Again, you can't have enough testimonial, but you could kill it by trying too hard. And we've all seen those websites with like 14 scrolls of testimonial. Like nobody's gonna
oversaturating.
Nobody's gonna read all of that. Like, knock it off. And I'm not
gonna
go ahead. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through every single testimony. You're just wasting precious real estate on your site.
Yeah. What I really like, just close that down. But what I really liked was you're a fit if, and you're not a good fit if. Yeah. So I like those two columns because that really helps them to identify whether they should be working with you or not.
Yeah, I want them to self-qualify.
Yeah.
Right. So you're a fit for this program if you have these credentials, if you will, right? And if they don't, then
exactly,
you're not a good fit. This way you save time, I save time, money.
Absolutely. Energy. I did the exact same thing on our website last year. Again, you should hire us if, and there's a huge button right underneath that paragraph. Do not hire us if you believe this. And it just went in one single paragraph.
Yeah,
that said it all.
This is great. It says exactly. A website shows credibility. It shows personality. It shows proof, creates trust. It's like dating. Do your values line up with their values? If they do, they buy from you. Usually. Yeah. Exactly. There's other variables aligned too. Does this fix the problem that they have? I'll give you a quick example. When that brand assessment client was asking me questions towards the end of the conversation, he started really getting into the execution of the marketing. It's not something that we do. Okay. We have referral partners that we send our clients to. They have the first right of refusal to not go with any of those referral partners if they didn't want to. They could hire their own people. That's fine. But I'm just trying to help bridge the gap between the next phase of the journey, right? Yeah. So he kept asking me all these questions. Well, with your referral partners, what are their results? What are their accomplishments? Listen, you're asking a carpenter plumbing problems. I'm not a plumber. I don't know their results. I don't know their statistics. That's something
you gotta interview them.
Yeah, you have to vet them.
Yeah.
So, I told them, I said, that's the next phase of the program. But you know what? You're jumping ahead a little bit. The reason why you're so cloudy about your marketing is because you don't have a solid brand foundation and strategy established first. When you can establish that first, that's going to inform the marketing. So you'll have a much brighter perspective of what needs to be created and how it needs to be marketed and what platform strategy you're going to use, etc. So I just felt like he just got ahead of himself there, which he might have just talked himself out of the getting the results that he was looking for, or right then and there, which it happens. You know what I mean? There's nothing I could have told him that made him think that, I was going to solve that problem for him. When he asked me, I said, I don't know their results, and that's something that I think we get caught up on, some of us, where we try to answer for them. And then we get right into selling. We get right into trying to, we start digging our own grave. Let's put it that way.
Wrong move. Exactly.
Right. You might as well just come out and say, not my wheelhouse, guy.
Yeah.
Go ask them. I'll give you the questions to ask them if you want. I'm happy to do that. Right. But I get it. The guy was burned in the past. He went through the same process. He got referred to a marketer. The marketer not screwed him, but didn't come through. And he couldn't make any money because they were charging too much. And it sucked. And that happens. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that before I don't want to go too off track though, but when it comes to optimizing your website, I love what was said here earlier about creating that personality, the proof, and the trust. Without that, guys, you're not gonna get a scroll.
Yeah.
I see my man Tom Kroll's in the house. What's going on, TK? How are you, my friend? Awesome dude, by the way. Salt of the earth guy right there. So I don't know. I mean, let's talk about, I see here in the notes, data-driven marketing. You talked about, I see here, website. A website is an extension of your brand. It's your virtual sales rep. I love that. It's a high-performance business tool. So talk to me, Owais. Talk to me about the virtual sales rep. I love that.
Yeah. So let's think about that. Now, again, I was being a cynic at the beginning of this conversation, speaking from a skeptical client that was really challenging me on this. And so I thought about this over and over again. This was a conversation that took place back in 2019, but it planted a seed in my mind because I wanted to really look into that and think about, why does this person, and why is there this sort of a belief out there in the first place? So the more I thought about that, I was like, no, a website is not a glorified business card. Not the way that we build it, at least. Even a brochure website, right? It's it's your virtual sales rep. It doesn't go to sleep. You do. It's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's not taking off on Christmas.
Exactly.
It's not getting drunk and waking up with a hangover on New Year's Day. Right?
Exactly.
So it is there working for you, and you may have had a call. Let's say if all you're doing is cold calling, and those customers are going back and verifying you and validating your expertise at a later time. Well, they might be doing that when they get that opportunity, not when you get that opportunity.
Right.
So you might be off on vacation. You might be off doing a couple of other things. These guys are perusing through your website. And then at that point in time, you also have a lead collection method. At least, again, the way that Henry and I would build out a website, you would have some sort of a lead collection method that helps the user navigate to that in a very easy manner and fill that out. And now they're part of your mailing list.
Exactly.
Now they're part of your your funnel, right? Now they're entering into a specific customer journey based off of whatever profile they selected at the very beginning.
So what just happened there? What did your website turn into?
It went from what's perceived as a glorified business card to a high performing business tool. It is a business tool if you want it. Exactly. Functioning.
A functioning business tool that is capturing a lead, nurturing that lead into a sale. And correct. I think one of the things that I don't see enough of is creative ways to engage your visitor. So let's talk about that for a second, right? I think visuals are a great way to explain this. So, when you come to the homepage of my website, I'm already getting you involved. Play the video, book an assessment, go watch some testimony, right? Here are some of my offerings. Go click on them, learn more about them. Go listen to some podcasts, right? Now, some may say, well, you're telling people to do too much. Listen, that's their journey. It's their journey. Let them go on it, right? Let them go on it. Again, this is great testimonial. Again, a little bit about me, social media, Instagram. Here's the masterclass, right? So I have the masterclass in two separate places. I have it up here in offerings because it's an offering. And then I also have it down here. I got to tell you, probably one of the best widgets I've ever connected to this website is this little bad boy right here in the bottom right-hand corner. It's a plugin called Drift, D-R-I-F-T. And they've come a long way. They now have a dedicated app that you download on your phone that anytime somebody puts something in here, I get notified like you get notified when somebody messages you on Facebook. And now you can have an instant conversation with somebody live on your website. Now, this works for me well because we don't work with a lot of clients. We don't get hundreds of inquiries a day. I wish I did, but that's not, so I'm able, and my team is able to really manage this nicely. If this ever got overwhelming, we would put people on shifts. We'd have a night shift, a morning shift, an afternoon shift, and we would have people just solely dedicated to responding to people. But if it ain't me, it's my partners, my project managers that could easily assist people that are navigating the website. If they want something, like I had somebody the other day say, is the brand assessment good for me, even though I don't have a brand yet? I said, yeah, it's really going to give you the clarity and focus you need to prepare that brand development. Exactly. Now, the brand accelerator program might be out of your league at this point, but at least you'll leave that assessment well-informed on putting together the team, and that's going to help you execute.
Yep.
But I did all of that in the chat. It took 2 seconds. So powerful tools here to optimize your website. I want to make sure that we're fulfilling our promise on today's live stream, that we're actually giving you some optimization tips for your website homepage.
Absolutely. And look, it all translates to one thing or a couple of things, right? Like when you were showing your website and all of the different elements, yeah, someone can come in and say that, yes, it looks a little overwhelming to have all of that all at once, but all of that creates that level of trust and level of credibility. And then, of course, peace of mind, this reassurance that, hey, Henry knows what he's talking about. He's worked with all of these people. They're telling me with their own words. It's not just typed out, but they're actually telling me on these video testimonials how they gain that level of clarity. And so, and I happen to be one of Henry's clients on that side as well, right? Just he didn't come in and design my brand for me, but again, helping me just gain clarity on how I needed to position myself.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Another huge mistake I see on website homepages is the only way that you could capture a lead is through a contact inquiry form, which I think is it's a lazy way of collecting a lead.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not how could I inquire more if I don't believe you?
Exactly.
Right? Like if I don't believe you can solve my problem, why would I inquire?
That's true.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Now,
and having that interaction, I like the chat feature. Quite a bit of my clients are including that. Now, again, have the chat feature if you have the ability to actually support it, right? Like you were saying, like you have yourself, your project managers, but if you're a solopreneur and you don't have the capacity or the resources or the time to be able to respond back, this was going to happen. I mean, over time, people are just going to leave your website and say, hey, this guy doesn't respond.
That's a good
point. Why should I
point.
hire him?
That's a good point. Like how many times
don't start implementing features that you're not going to be able to continue to service.
That's such a good point. How many times I would go to a website, hit a live chat, and just get crickets? That's actually doing your brand a disservice.
It is.
Right. So if you're going to implement these things, make sure that you, like you said, execute on them, because it can make or break the first impression, and we don't want that. Right?
Yeah. Response time is a big deal, guys. Even all after you onboard that client, that is the indicator especially for me, is a consistency in terms of being able to follow through on what you said you will do during that promise phase. And in addition to that, continuous communication, ongoing communication is key.
Yes. So why is this so important for business owners, entrepreneurs, personal brands? Like, how is this going to translate into money? Right? That's the big question. Yeah. So I can tell you right now, the website that I've been showcasing here today of mine is probably the 9th iteration in 14 years. It has been exhausting to get it to where it is today. So my goal here for today was to kind of just give you a little taste of what we can do to optimize your online presence, your digital footprint, so you don't have to go through 9 iterations of website design to get something functional that's really, I love the way you put it, your virtual sales rep in place. So I've been there. I got the t-shirt, spent a shit ton of money. Don't want you to do that. If you're going to spend a shit ton of money, we're going to measure twice, cut once, and make it happen. Right. And that's how this translates into saved money, but also it makes something that's laser focused, that is customized to your ideal client. Yeah. And that's what we need to pay attention to moving forward. This is what's going to drive lead. This is what's going to convert into a sale. So you can get the prettiest website on the planet. If it's not functional, if it's not creating credibility, proof, trust, and differentiating by personality, you're wasting precious time, my friends, and money.
Agreed.
So I think that's a wrap. I think I feel comfortable with what we dropped today. How about you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I really, at the end of the day, it all comes back to brand, right? Even when you're building a website, I believe that a well-structured brand and all that message that goes along with it is aligned to, it clarifies exactly what your message needs to be, and it aligns your sales and marketing process.
That's it.
And just translates over to the way your business performs.
That's it. And the key to this whole process is to optimize and systemize your lead flow.
Correct.
It's probably one of the biggest issues my clients come to me for is I need systemization when it comes to going out there on social media and doing my thing, air quotes, to getting that into a qualified lead, into a qualified buyer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And creating that transition into paid customer. So
correct.
There's work involved, guys. I wish there was a turnkey. I wish there was a, I could just touch your forehead and all of this happens, but it's not going to happen that way. There's a lot of homework that needs to be done prior. I highly recommend this book, The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. Man, he has some funny one-liners and he's throwing jabs at some big gurus out there. One of the chapters is called the Kool-Aid, because there's a lot of people drinking a lot of other people's Kool-Aid and not realizing that Kool-Aid isn't going to make you rich overnight by one simple funnel. It's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And if you're willing to put in that work up front, you could reap major benefits on the back end. Listen, me and a partner are working on a very substantial project right now. And it is a lot of work, a lot of time. I had to clear my calendar yesterday just to get what we needed done. And it's very, very promising, but there's a lot more work to be done, right? But the best thing, when we went out to dinner last night, he said, now that we spoke to the politicians and the lawyers, we know what's at stake here, right? The stakes are high, right? There's a huge upside if we put in the work early, efficiently, and I would say aggressively, in the nicest tone. And that's what we're going to do. And it's very interesting to see a lot of the pieces of the puzzle coming together, like a science project for your kid. It's really interesting. I love putting those puzzle pieces together. I didn't realize how much I loved Legos until I started building them for my son. But that's what I feel like I'm doing right now, is putting these Lego, putting a giant multi-million-dollar Lego set together right now. But so I'll keep you posted as we continue to gain progress, and I'll keep you posted, everybody, and tell you what that is. But I can't say anything right now. So it's exciting stuff. I'm really proud of it, and it's going to be awesome. So, yeah, guys, I think if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, or you're inside of my Facebook group, the Brand Doctors Hangout, highly recommend you go check out and become a community member over there. Subscribe over here on YouTube. And we come at you every Monday and Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Live streaming podcasts on Monday, live streaming on YouTube and Facebook channels on Wednesday. So let us know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was for today's conversation. And if you want to add any commentary, please feel free to drop it down below. And we will make sure that we respond. If you have any questions, drop them down below, and we will get back to you promptly. So have an amazing day, guys. And we'll catch you on the next one real soon. Take care.